DIY.
See, I want to hyper focus on that because you got to explain to me, please, why the best lyricists that I know, especially out here, I don't care if I'm talking to Daylight.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm talking to Dot, especially Soul, who's never hesitate to give you your props.
Yeah.
They all talk about you from the perspective of a coach.
Yeah.
And specifically, I mean, obviously in their music careers, but specifically with the lyricism.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's more the thing of like they respect what I do lyrically and with the pen. And I can explain to them certain things. Like if I'm listening to their music, I can tell you exactly where something is off based on my experience. So that's different than a suit coming in and saying, I don't like this part. You're right. And can't even give you a reason as to how to fix it. You know what I mean? So that's where that respect come from. And I usually say things that make a lot of sense. And it's always, with me, it's always a suggestion.
Right.
It's never, yo, do this. It's like, yo, what you think about trying it this way?
Right.
And that just leaves people more open to the suggestion.
I know the power that comes along with your voice, especially in certain arenas like that, giving advice. I was talking to Daylight a few weeks ago, and he said, you said something and left out the room. He said, as he's rapping, like, you know, he's multi-syllables. He's going to give you all of these storylines and things that you're going to go back through. As he was barring up, you said, hey, yo, Light, learn to master the mid-range, and then you walked out the room.
Exactly. See, the whole thing was most artists want to go for the home run right away. That's shooting the big three or going in and dunking crazy.
Right.
But that mid-range is wide open. You know what I mean? It's subtle. And it gets to the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to dribble 1,000 times and put the ball in your shirt and flip it around.
And one.
You know what I mean?
Because they never show baskets going in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Pull up at the elbow and take the shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's more effective.
Right.
And people don't know how to guard it.
Especially in today's NBA.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the mid-range is wide open for you. Just stop and pull up.
Oh.
Keep it simple. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a multi-syllable metaphor every bar. You know what I'm saying? Hit me with one and then let me dwell on that for a second. And then come back in with another one a little bit later.
Yeah.
But if I'm constantly trying to get this while you hitting another one, then another one, I'm missing the whole point of what you're saying.
At what point did you see Kendrick's rise become inevitable?
The day I met him.
The day you met him. What is it?
Literally, the first day.
Yeah.
I heard him first. His mixtape was in the studio, the first mixtape he did. So I took it and was listening to it in the car. I'm like, oh, okay. This kid can rap. He sound like Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. So maybe a week later, I walk in the studio and he's in there. And I'm watching him build this chorus. Like his stacks, his harmonies, his melodies. And he's doing this first before he did any verse or anything.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this kid's a songwriter. He know how to make a song. He know how to make music. It's not just rap. Then he added the verses to it. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This kid's going to be amazing. He's going to be great.
Right.
Like from the first day.
Yeah. At that time, was he, I mean, from what I remember, the approach wasn't writing things down.
Nah. He wasn't writing at all.
What is the science behind that? Because when Soul did it at in his early 20s and he came to my grandmother's patio when he did that, I was texting the homie grandma. I was like, yo, does he not feeling the beat? Like, am I doing something wrong? He sat back in the chair and I kid you not, about 15 minutes later, he stands up and says, I'm ready. I said, ready for what, sir? And he gets up there and delivers a verse and I'm literally watching him. Like, he got the glasses on, so he's going back in his head, and I can see him, like, kind of rolling his eyes back, and then he'll forget a line in the same way, because I'm always been on the paper, right? I'm very, like, analog with that. And I would look at a line and say, oh, what did I say there? Okay, let me change that. I'd see him doing this on some Beautiful Mind shit, where he's like, no, what did I say? Okay, to the point where I've compared what I see with him and with Dot, almost like when you're seeing Bleak Gilliam in Mo Better Blues, right?
Yeah.
When he's what is the science behind that? And do you think that there's an advantage to the artists that you've seen utilize that approach?
It's funny, Jay, when they asked Jay-Z about it and say he inspired a nation of bad writers or a generation of bad
I
writers.
saw a video about that. I covered that for sure.
That's hilarious. But even with his explanation, Jay is like, he was getting further and further away from his notebook. Like when he in the street, but he still got these ideas. So he like, the only way to really get them done is to memorize them now at this point.
Right.
So I think Dot got that from him.
Okay. So it's been like that from day one. That's what you...
From day one with Dot, yeah.
That's incredible.
The first day Soul did it
Yeah.
was the first day he did a song with Dot and Rock in the studio.
That is insane.
Because Dot was in there writing his parts in his head.
Yeah.
So looking at him, like, oh, I ain't never writing again. He put his pen down.
Interesting.
And he started doing it the same way. But two, also with Soul,
Yeah.
you know, his sight is not the best.
Right.
So he was thinking eventually, like, he gonna have to get to that point anyway. So that part was just the spark for it.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've attempted, as I've gotten on this live stream, I've attempted, and it gave me a better appreciation for what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like they had the luxury of being in their own studio all day long. Everybody had to go in that booth.
Oh yeah, that's the difference.
Had to rotate through everything.
But real quick on that, still even more on that, Dot was he said the reason he would do it is because it gives you more freedom how to express it. Like if you're writing it, you kind of confined to the lines for him personally. Right.
I took a speech interpretation class one time where they said take a few words at a time.
Yeah.
And then recite what you're going to recite. Yep. And in my mind, it was like, you're asking me to memorize a line at a time, pretty much. I'm thinking of what that process is. It's less about reading it as you wrote it, because now you're hard pronouncing certain words. Now you're not, and there's a certain like rhythm that you can only achieve through that process and doing that.
Yeah, it's more so like when you write speeches.
Yeah.
They encourage you to do bullet points.
Yes.
So the whole thing is not to remember word from word, but remember the idea. And when you get the idea, you can flip it and play with it a little bit more.
Right.
As opposed to being stuck line from line. So it's the same principle.
Okay, I don't care what y'all say. Y'all is in there. Y'all was some maniacs, bro. Y'all was some maniacs. Y'all was some geniuses. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.